Hell, hello everybody, Blind Metal Gamer here with you once again, and it is time for another video game accessibility video. In this video, I'm going to discuss something that has not been discussed to my knowledge on YouTube, so I wanted to take this time to discuss this topic, and that is Souls-likes that are accessible for blind and low vision players. Now, to this day, it's just like a wrestling game. There is no Souls-like that is accessible to blind and low vision players. There is no games in the Souls genre that is playable by blind and visually impaired players. Um, and there's a lot. There's a Nacho the Last Song, there's Black Myth Wukong, the Dark Souls series, there's a game, I cannot pronounce it, something about, it's going to be a Souls-like Dante's Inferno game. I know that these are mainly designed to be difficult, and I get that, but I feel like these type of games can be made accessible for blind and low vision players. I feel like it can be done. Um, it can most certainly be done. And I'd like to talk about how this can be done for blind and low vision players. Now, um, I've done this in audio form, but I want to do this in video form because I feel like it might reach some Souls developers to give them ideas on how to make their game accessible for a blind player or a player with very low vision. Now, I'm going to start off by saying full screen reader support. I'm not just talking minimal menu support, I'm talking advanced screen reader support that would read not only the in-game menus and in-game skill trees, but it would tell you when you're in a tutorial what button to push to do which action. So, for example, push a square for a light attack and triangle for a heavy attack. Or push L1, hold L1 to block, tap L1 to parry. It would tell you what to push. The challenge would still be there, and the anger inducing difficulty would still be there if the player wants it. Now, another thing I want to talk about is um, the challenge of Souls likes. Yes, keep the challenge there. Because, people want their challenge in Souls gameplay. I get that. But for those that need an easier challenge in combat, make it where the player can customize the combat difficulty to a very light option. That way they can still experience the Souls-like combat, and it won't be as punishing on them for missing, say, a dodge or a parry or an attack or a counter attack or a finishing move or whatever. Um, Something like that. And then another thing I want to talk about is navigational assistance. Now, I know these games are known for exploration. I know they are known for um, having these vast, epic worlds. But I think if there's like an objective, like meet a player at the church, there should be maybe a point of interest ping that would go click, 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 that would click, or maybe an option that may be pushed in the right stick or something to let you know how far, or to help you go where you gotta go as far as pointing you in the right direction. Assassin's Creed Shadows does something similar with its navigation, where you have to basically center your compass near your objective, and then you just go forward, and it will tell you how far or close you are to your objective. Now, I get they could do that, but here's the thing: with that system, you have to keep in mind you have to keep babysitting the right stick, and for some players, that's not going to be easy for them to do. So by having the option kind of similar to Marvel Spider-Man 2 or The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, where you can click the stick and it'll point you where you gotta go, that would be of most help. Now, as far as uh, the next topic, audio cues for things such as combat, uh, exploration, objective finding, and item and loot finding. Now, for combat, the audio cues could be like, when you're going to target an enemy, when you've defeated an enemy. Um, there could be audio cues for successful parries, for perfect parries, audio cues for when to push your button to do a finishing move, audio cues to let the player know when they're low on health, and things like that, and audio cues for perfect dodges. And then I'm sure I'm missing a few things, but those are the ones I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about, descriptive audio for in-game cutscenes. And you're thinking, oh my god, Blind Metal Gamer, why that? Because that is essential for in-game cutscenes. That way we as blind players know what's going on and can follow the story as well. So descriptive audio for in-game cutscenes, and if applicable, and it can be done for finishing moves too, that would be cool as well. Um, and then let's see, Blind Souls like. Uh, let's see, I've covered advanced screen reader, combat, difficulty, descriptive audio, navigation, traversal. There should be a way to have an auto climb for ledges if you have to climb up a ledge or something. And then maybe a ledge guard for if you're on a cliff, for example, and you fall that 100 feet and it kills you, have a ledge guard option where you won't fall off a cliff, or maybe you'll take no fall damage on when you fall off of that cliff. Another thing I'm thinking of is skippable puzzles, because if there are puzzles, they need to be skippable. I know Hellblade 2 has this, although I've not experienced that myself in my playthrough yet, but I know it's got them. So, um, skippable puzzles. And another thing, any of these options should not affect the player's ability to gain achievements or trophies in the game. That is key. I've had too many experiences where I would be, like, I'll give an example, Midnight Fight Express. I was going to customize the difficulty, see how that works. You couldn't do that. You had to sacrifice your achievements or trophies to get that done, and it shouldn't be that way. No, no. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, another thing that would be awesome in making a blind Souls-like game would be adjustable game speed during combat. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, Blind Metal Gamer, why this? Well, why adjustable game speed for combat? That way, if the player needs more time to to learn timing of attacks, timing for dodges, timing for parries, and things like that, and it would give them time to learn the audio cues. So, audio cues for when to parry, when to dodge, like, let's say that enemy has an unblockable attack that you cannot parry. Okay, give them an audio cue for that. Having a reduced game speed down to maybe 50% would give the player more time to react and time to learn. That way, when the player so chooses, he or she can make that speed be increased back to 100%, learn their audio cues, and learn their timing in a normal environment. So, again, there's that. And then another option I would recommend or suggest would be have a practice mode where you could go in and set it to have whatever enemies you want, and you can just not have to fear about, oh, I'm going to lose my souls or lose my currency or whatever. And you can focus on combat. You can focus on learning these things and learning your parries, your dodges, your blocks, your finishing moves, things like that. So, um, in the end, I hope that the purpose of this video is that I'm hoping that developers of Souls likes will see this and that they will take these accessibility options into consideration to make their Souls-like games more accessible for blind and low vision players, because this is something that needs to be done. I think there are a lot of blind and low vision folks, myself included, that want to get into Souls likes. I want to get angry and throw my controller and get pissed off and all that stuff. But hey, the barrier again for the gamers without sight is the accessibility needs to be there. I'm not saying lower the difficulty challenge, make the options available to the player to make these Souls likes accessible for blind and low vision players. So with that being said, I've been Blind Metal Gamer. I hope this video helps a developer that's making a Souls-like to make their game as accessible as possible for blind and low vision players. And if you have any questions or want to just talk about this in the comment section below, feel free to comment down in the comment section below and we'll have a conversation. And that is to anybody that watches this video, just leave your comments in the comment section below and, we'll talk about it. And also, the purpose of this is to start a conversation and to start a discussion about this topic. So, with that being said, I've been Blind Metal Gamer. If you like what you see and hear, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and be sure to turn on all notifications so you know when I upload new content and go live. Until next time, so long, stay safe, and peace out.